Joining us now is Nichole Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under the Obama administration. Joel, we thank you so much for your time. So we just heard Kelly there talking about Djibouti, right? Late last week, we heard U.S. troops were being moved there as a precaution in the event that an evacuation was, quote, needed. Talk to us about what happened over the weekend that led to this essentially middle of the night Navy SEAL operation.
Yeah, Nichole, thanks so much for having me on today. And what happened over the weekend was the president made a decision that now was the time to get our diplomats out, that there needed to be an evacuation because conditions on the ground in Khartoum were rapidly disintegrating. And that basically means that they're in a war zone right now. And the president exerted caution, waited to see what would happen over the first week or so. We did have a diplomatic convoy attacked. There were no fatalities, fortunately, or injuries from that, but that really raised the alarm bells. And then over the weekend, needing to send the forces in. And the United States, we aren't alone in that as well. Other countries from the region are evacuating their diplomatic personnel as well. The Sudanese Armed Forces, in fact, is helping to a certain extent that facilitation. So it was an important call, and fortunately, everyone was safe when they evacuated.
And Joel, as you were speaking, we're taking a look at that video there. It certainly looks like a war zone, as you said. We know that the U.S. Embassy in Khartoum is now closed. The government just says it's really too dangerous to evacuate private U.S. citizens. But as we know that there are citizens there. So what are they supposed to do? And what is the plan? Is there a plan to effectively get them out?
Yeah, first of all, this is heart-wrenching to watch. To watch a country of 35 million people that has been on the cusp of converting to a democracy, basically be torn apart by militia leaders, by warlords. And the result is that these 16,000 or so Americans, many of whom are dual national Sudanese Americans, they are left stranded. Many of them may not want to leave. They may be actually there with family, but many may want to go. And in that case, first and foremost, they're going to have to engage in communications online. And there's very little online communication. So basic rudimentary phone connections, as well as word of mouth, and engaging through networks to find land routes as well. It's a very difficult situation for them right now. We have not sent in military forces to try to clear an airfield and bring people out, as we saw in Afghanistan when well over 100,000 people were evacuated. But potentially that could be an option. It depends on the demand. But in the near term, frankly, and it's a horrifying thing to say, is the idea is to stay sheltered in place right now and stay safe, primarily for these Americans who are there in Khartoum and in Sudan. And that is just devastating. And I'm not sure how long that can hold before we see more direct contact.
Speaking on that, Joel, before we let you go, we know that the U.S. is supposed to be trying to send in this disaster response team, but how does that work in such a volatile area? As you said, I mean, people are being told to essentially shelter in place.
Yeah, what happens is that the disaster response team and all of this work is being coordinated across the interagency, as discussed in the previous segment there. Our robust American military forces at the Horn of Africa and have been based in Djibouti for a number of years. And they're able to deploy, and they could deploy, again, if need be, in a larger footprint. But that really, in many ways, depends upon the conditions they're seeing on the ground. And I'm glad that ISR was brought up, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities that the Defense Department has to really watch and monitor and track. But this is disintegrating rapidly. And every day that goes on, the less eyes and ears we really do have on the ground. So there is a narrow window if we're going to see an evacuation for these individuals to be taken out before it becomes much more difficult and much more hostile terrain for an American force to enter.
Yeah, such a difficult situation there. All right, Nichole Rubin, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.